You must understand that the veil of sleep is not a curtain of silence, but a doorway to a different reality. When your conscious mind rests and your physical body is still, your soul awakens to the vibrant, teeming, and often turbulent energies of the spiritual realm. This is a sacred time, a period when your spirit is most open to receiving divine guidance, deep healing, and celestial downloads of wisdom. It is in this state that your connection to the divine is at its most pure, unburdened by the doubts and fears of your waking ego. However, this same openness that allows for divine connection also creates a state of profound vulnerability. The spiritual world is a realm of polarity, a place where both the highest light and the deepest shadows are active and aware. For this reason, the night is not just a time of rest, it is often a time of unseen warfare. While you dream, your guardian angels and divine protectors are ever vigilant, standing guard over your slumbering form. You may have experienced the subtle aftermath of these nocturnal battles without ever knowing their cause, waking up feeling inexplicably exhausted despite a full night's sleep, or with a vague, lingering sense of anxiety or dread clinging to you like a shroud. These are often the spiritual echoes, the energetic residue of conflicts fought in your defense while you were completely unaware. Your spirit, though unconscious to your waking mind, is a beacon of light, and in the spiritual realm, light always attracts attention. This sacred state of sleep is where the deepest work is done. It is where seeds of inspiration are planted by your guides and where old, traumatic energies are gently cleared from your aura. But it is also the time when forces that oppose your growth and your mission seek to gain an advantage. They attempt to sow their own seeds, seeds of doubt, fear, hopelessness, and despair, into the fertile ground of your subconscious mind when your conscious defenses are down. Most of these minor skirmishes are easily handled by your angelic guardians. But what happened last night was no minor skirmish. It was a battle of a different magnitude entirely. You must grasp this fundamental truth: the spiritual realm is just as real as the physical world you see, and its battles have real-world consequences. The peace in your heart, the clarity in your mind, and the momentum in your life are all things that are constantly being defended and fought for on your behalf in the unseen. For the most part, you are shielded from the knowledge of this constant warfare so that you may live your life in peace. But the events of last night were so significant, so critical to the future of your soul, that Archangel Michael has deemed it necessary to break the silence and make you aware of the monumental battle that was just fought and won for you. This was not a random or arbitrary attack. The great confrontation that occurred while you slept last night was the culmination of a critical tipping point in your soul's journey. Spiritual battles of this magnitude are never arbitrary. They are always triggered by a significant shift in energy, a moment when the stakes for your destiny are raised to their absolute highest. You have been standing at such a tipping point, on the very precipice of a monumental breakthrough in your life. A long-awaited miracle, a profound healing, a new level of purpose, or the manifestation of a deep desire was closer than it has ever been. This imminent success sent a brilliant flash of light from your soul, a signal of impending victory that echoed across the spiritual realms, alerting both the forces of heaven and the forces that stand in opposition to the divine plan. Alternatively, for some of you, this tipping point was one of profound despair. You have been under relentless pressure, facing challenges that have pushed you to your absolute limit. Last night, your soul may have reached a point of near surrender, a moment where the temptation to give up, to let go of all hope, was at its peak. This state of extreme vulnerability also sent out a powerful signal, a distress flare, indicating that your soul's divine light was in imminent danger of being extinguished by the suffocating darkness of hopelessness. Both of these states, being on the verge of your greatest victory or your deepest surrender, created a spiritual flashpoint that drew the attention of the highest powers. To compound this, the specific celestial timing of last night, the energies transitioning from September 12th into today, September 13th, 2025, created a cosmic environment that was ripe for confrontation. It was a moment in the universal calendar where the veil between worlds was particularly thin, allowing for a more direct and powerful clash between the forces of light and shadow. Your personal spiritual tipping point, therefore, coincided perfectly with the universal moment of energetic volatility. This created a perfect storm, a divinely orchestrated moment where this long-simmering conflict had to be brought to a head and resolved, once and for all. Understand this: the battle last night was not just about your mood or your circumstances. It was about your entire timeline. It was a strategic move by the opposition to either sabotage your breakthrough at the last possible second or to capitalize on your vulnerability to push you completely off your path. The reason for the confrontation was precise and purposeful. The timing was not accidental. Your life, your mission, and your soul's trajectory had reached a point of such critical importance that it triggered a major response from the forces that wished to keep you small, stuck, and silent. In this cosmic conflict, your adversary was not some minor, nameless entity. The being that came for you last night was a powerful, ancient consciousness, an archetypal force that can be identified as the great demon of delay, stagnation, and despair. This is not a creature of horns and fire in the traditional sense, but a sentient and intelligent spiritual force of immense power whose sole function is to enforce spiritual entropy. Its mission is to halt progress, to stifle growth, and to drain the divine life force of enthusiasm and hope from souls who are destined for greatness. It is the architect of the invisible walls and the frustrating obstacles that make you feel like you are running on a treadmill, perpetually stuck and unable to move forward in your life. The signature of this entity's influence is profoundly familiar to you, though you may not have had a name for it until now. It is the architect of the almost. The business that almost succeeded, the relationship that was almost perfect, the healing that almost completed. It specializes in creating frustrating, inexplicable delays that drain your faith and exhaust your spirit. It whispers the most potent lies directly into the subconscious mind. It's too late for you. Nothing will ever change. You'll never be good enough. Why even bother trying? It feeds on the energy of hopelessness, and its ultimate goal is to generate so much despair within a soul that the soul itself willingly chooses to give up on its divine mission. You have been a target of this entity for a long time, far longer than just last night. It has been the unseen source of the spiritual heaviness you felt, the force behind the sudden waves of apathy and the persistent feeling of being stuck in mud, unable to gain traction no matter how hard you try. It has been the mastermind behind the spiritual warfare that has sought to keep your divine potential locked away and dormant. It creates a prison of perceived reality, a gray and hopeless world, and works tirelessly to convince you that this prison is the entire universe, and there is no escape. Last night, however, its approach shifted from a long-term campaign of attrition to a direct, decisive assault. Triggered by your soul's tipping point, it saw a window of opportunity to achieve its ultimate goal. This was not just about making you miserable or delaying your success any longer. Its objective last night was to inflict a fatal blow to your spirit, to create a wound of despair so deep that you would completely and irrevocably surrender your divine purpose. It came to convince you to forfeit the game, to willingly extinguish your own light, and thereby allow it to claim your destiny as its prize. The prize of this epic battle, the ultimate stake for which this great war was waged, was nothing less than your soul's light and the divine mission it is destined to fulfill. You were targeted with such ferocity not because you are weak, but because you are profoundly powerful. The unique, brilliant, and potent light that your soul carries is a direct and significant threat to the agenda of darkness in this world. An awakened and activated soul like yours is a weapon of mass creation, capable of generating ripples of love, healing, and transformation that can liberate thousands of other souls. The opposition cannot afford to let you reach your full potential. Your soul came to this earth at this specific time with a sacred mission encoded within it. There is a purpose that only you can fulfill, a particular frequency of love that only you can anchor, and specific people that only you can reach. This mission is your why. It is the reason for your existence and the source of your greatest potential joy and fulfillment. The great demon of despair was sent with one primary objective: to sever your connection to this mission. It sought to claim your soul's light, not by destroying it, but by tricking you into abandoning it yourself. Its strategy is to make you believe so completely in your own powerlessness that you willingly put your own light away in a box and never open it again. This is the insidious nature of this spiritual warfare. Darkness often wins not by force, but by deception. If this entity could successfully convince you that your mission is impossible, that your light is insignificant, and that your efforts are futile, you would then do its work for it. You would give up. You would surrender to apathy. You would let your divine gifts atrophy from disuse. In doing so, your soul's light, while never truly extinguished, would be effectively claimed and taken off the board, neutralized and rendered inert for this lifetime. This was the prize, the silencing of your divine purpose. Therefore, you must reframe your understanding of this attack. The fact that the great demon was dispatched to contend for your destiny is the ultimate, undeniable confirmation of your immeasurable importance in the divine plan. Heaven does not waste its best warriors on insignificant battles, and neither does the opposition. You were targeted with such a powerful adversary because your potential is so vast, your light is so bright, and your mission is so critical to the future of this planet. This battle was not a sign of your weakness, it was the ultimate testament to the magnitude of your divine strength and the world-changing destiny you are here to fulfill. As the assault from the great demon of despair reached its crescendo in the spiritual realm last night, as your soul was pushed to its absolute limit, it did the only thing it could do: it cried out. It was not a cry of words, but a silent, high-frequency blast of pure spiritual distress, a beacon of light flickering under immense pressure. This signal shot through the heavens, and in a divine realm, a signal of this magnitude from a soul with a critical mission like yours triggers an immediate and non-negotiable response. It activates what can only be described as heaven's emergency protocol. The alarm sounded, and the call for the ultimate first responder went out. This protocol is reserved for souls of significant importance to the divine plan, souls who are under a special and sacred watch. The moment your soul's light was in genuine peril of being overcome, the terms of engagement changed. The normal course of subtle guidance and non-intervention was instantly overridden by a mandate for direct, powerful, and decisive action. Heaven does not stand by idly and watch its most crucial missions fail. When a soul like yours cries out under an attack of this magnitude, the response is overwhelming and instantaneous. And there is only one being in the entire celestial hierarchy who is always the first to answer this specific type of emergency call. It is not a task delegated to a lesser angel. When a great demon moves to claim a pivotal soul, heaven dispatches its greatest champion. The call was answered, as it always is, by Archangel Michael, the commander of the heavenly armies, the protector of the faithful, and the divine warrior who knows no equal. His intervention was not a matter of chance, nor was it a request he had to consider. It was a matter of his very nature, of divine law, and of the sacred protocol he is sworn to uphold. He was summoned, and he came. His arrival on the battlefield of your soul space was an event of cataclysmic spiritual power. It was not a quiet appearance, but a sudden and blinding explosion of sapphire blue and golden light that tore through the oppressive darkness the demon had created around you. It was the sound of 1,000,000 celestial trumpets announcing the arrival of the king's champion. It was the feeling of absolute, unshakable authority that causes all lesser darkness to tremble and recoil. In that instant, your embattled soul was no longer alone. The tide of the war turned. The ultimate protector had arrived, and the true battle for the future of your soul had just begun. The battle that ensued was not a clash of physical forms, but a cataclysm of pure energy and archetypal power, waged in the ethereal landscape of your own soul space. This battlefield was a realm constructed from your deepest beliefs, your most cherished memories, your hidden fears, and your brightest hopes. The great demon did not wield fire and brimstone, its weapons were far more insidious and personal. It conjured illusions forged from every mistake you have ever made, projecting holographic scenes of your past failures to convince you of your own unworthiness. It wielded whips of shadow made from the ancestral despair in your bloodline, striking at you with the inherited sorrows of your lineage. Its most potent weapon was its voice, a whisper that sounded like your own, poisoning the sacred air with the lies of your deepest insecurities. Against this deeply personal assault, Archangel Michael engaged not as a brute force, but as a divine strategist of light. He met the demon's illusions with his sword of absolute truth, a blade of pure light that shattered every false projection upon contact, revealing your past mistakes not as sources of shame, but as lessons that forged your strength. He raised his shield of divine faith, a shimmering vortex of sapphire energy that absorbed and neutralized the whispers of doubt and despair, rendering them powerless. He did not meet the demon's heavy, stagnant energy with force, but with speed and light, moving like a whirlwind of divine fire, a blur of golden and blue energy that illuminated the darkest corners of your inner world and cauterized the spiritual wounds the demon sought to exploit. The clash was a tempest of cosmic forces within the intimate space of your spirit. For every chain of regret the demon manifested, Michael forged a key of forgiveness. For every wall of fear it erected, Michael summoned a wave of divine love that dissolved it into mist. It was a battle of frequencies, the heavy, contracting, cold frequency of despair versus the expansive, brilliant, and warm frequency of divine love and absolute faith. The very fabric of your dreamscape was torn and rewoven with every parry and thrust, as the future of your timeline, the fate of your breakthrough, and the security of your divine mission hung in the balance of this epic and silent war. This was not a battle that could be won by power alone. It was a battle of truth, and the ultimate truth rested within you. Michael fought to defend you, but he knew the final victory had to be yours. The entire conflict raged over the territory of your spirit, a sacred ground that Archangel Michael defended with all the might of heaven, ensuring that the core of who you are remained untouched, pure, and sovereign throughout the celestial violence that unfolded in your defense while you slacked. In the heat of this cosmic struggle, a moment of critical intensity was reached. The great demon, being an ancient and powerful entity, drew upon the accumulated despair of ages, creating a moment of seeming stalemate. Its sheer gravitational weight of hopelessness met the infinite power of Michael's light, and for a breathless instant, the battle hung in a perfect, terrifying balance. In this pivotal moment, Archangel Michael knew that more external force was not the answer. The decisive blow had to come from the very territory being fought over. He did not draw more power down from the heavens. He looked deep within your soul, past the fear and the wounds, and searched for the one thing the demon could not create, understand, or extinguish: your own authentic spark of light. He found it. It may have been small, a tiny, flickering ember of hope you've been nurturing against all odds. It might have been the memory of a single moment of pure joy, a prayer for a loved one, or the stubborn, almost illogical belief that a better future was still possible. It was your unique, resilient, and unbreakable spark of faith. This spark, however small, was pure divine essence, a fragment of God's own light that is your eternal birthright. The demon, being a creature of illusion and despair, is constitutionally incapable of touching this core truth. It was the one part of your soul space that it could not occupy. In that critical instant, Michael focused all of his divine energy onto that tiny ember. He fanned it with the breath of the Holy Spirit, amplifying its light 1,000,000 times over until it blazed like a newborn star in the center of your being. He forged your own hope into a divine weapon, a dagger of pure, concentrated faith, uniquely attuned to your own soul's frequency. This was not his weapon, it was yours. He was merely the divine blacksmith, and your own enduring spirit was the celestial steel. This was the turning point of the war, the moment the tide turned irrevocably in the favor of the light. With this weapon of your own hope blazing in his hand, Michael struck the final, decisive blow. He plunged your own light deep into the heart of the demon's shadowy form. Because the weapon was forged from your own faith, the demon had no defense against it. It could deflect external power, but it could not deflect your own reclaimed hope. It was a blow of radical self-love, a declaration of your own spirit's will to live and thrive. The demon's form, a construct of lies and despair, could not withstand the pure truth of your own inner light. It shattered with a silent, spiritual shriek, its illusion of power broken forever by the very spark it had been sent to extinguish. A victory in the spiritual realm must be absolute, or it is temporary. Archangel Michael understands this better than any. After shattering the demon's form with your own light, his work was not yet done. A defeated enemy can retreat, recover, and return. Therefore, a simple defeat was not enough. The outcome had to be a final and permanent banishment. As the demon's essence recoiled, weakened and broken, Michael unfurled chains of pure, divine, and unbreakable light. These were not chains of punishment, but chains of binding, designed to contain and neutralize the entity's power completely, ensuring it could never again interfere with your energy or your life. With the great demon of delay and despair bound and helpless, Michael performed the final act of this holy war. He did not just cast it out of your presence, he cast it out of your entire timeline. This is a profound spiritual act with staggering implications. He has, by the authority of God, revoked this entity's energetic license and legal right to influence your past, your present, and your future. The old spiritual contracts or ancestral vulnerabilities that may have given this demon access to your lineage have been rendered null and void. He has fundamentally altered your spiritual reality, removing the very frequency of this specific opposition from the entire spectrum of your existence. The curse of delay has been lifted because its enforcer has been banished. Imagine your life as a sacred scroll upon which your story is written. This entity had been blotting that scroll with the ink of stagnation and despair for years. Michael has now not only stopped the demon from writing, but he has magically and permanently erased every last trace of its ink from every page. He has cleansed your timeline. The lingering effects of its past influence, the karmic patterns it created, and the energetic residue it left behind have all been purified in the holy fire of his victory. The spiritual atmosphere of your life, once heavy and oppressive, has now been cleansed and consecrated. With the banishment complete, a great and sacred silence fell upon your soul space. The battlefield, once scarred with the energies of conflict, was now flooded with Michael's own peaceful, healing, sapphire blue light. He stood as the sole guardian in the quiet of your spirit, the victorious champion in the aftermath of a war you never knew was fought. He has created a purified, sovereign space within you, a clean slate, a new and holy ground upon which you can now build your future, completely free from the insidious influence of the great demon that was sent to destroy you. The victory was not just a defense, it was a total and complete liberation. As the first faint light of this morning, September 13th, began to break across the physical world, the final verdict of your spiritual battle was sealed in the heavens. The chaos of the night has receded. The cosmic storm has passed. And the official outcome of this great confrontation can now be revealed. Let your soul hear these words and accept them as the absolute and unshakable truth of your new reality. The battle is over. The war for your soul, your destiny, and your light was fought, and Archangel Michael was completely, utterly, and gloriously victorious. There is no ambiguity, no lingering doubt. The victory is absolute. The first and most important consequence of this victory is this: your soul is secure. The prize that the great demon sought to claim has been placed under the highest and most powerful protection in all of existence. It was not harmed, it was not diminished, and its light was not extinguished. In fact, having been tested in the crucible of such a conflict and having served as the very weapon of its own salvation, your soul is now brighter, stronger, and more resilient than ever before. Michael has now placed a new and permanent victor's seal upon it, a mark of his personal protection that will serve as an eternal warning to any lesser darkness that it is not to be trifled with. Furthermore, the false reality that the demon had worked so hard to construct around you has been shattered. The prison of hopelessness, the illusion that things would never change, the heavy feeling of stagnation, these were constructs of its dark energy, sustained only by your subconscious belief in them. With the demon's banishment, the power source for that entire false matrix has been unplugged. The prison walls have dematerialized. You are now free from the oppressive spiritual atmosphere that has been limiting your perception and your progress for years, perhaps even for your entire life. Therefore, this new day is not just another day. It is the first day of your new life, the dawn of a new, victorious timeline that has been cleared and consecrated by Michael's triumph. Do not be surprised if you have woken up this morning feeling strangely different, even if you cannot explain why. You may feel a quiet, unexplainable sense of peace. You may feel a lightness in your spirit, as if a great weight has been lifted. You may feel a flicker of hope or a newfound clarity that wasn't there when you went to sleep. This is not your imagination. This is the tangible, energetic proof that while your body slept, your entire spiritual reality was irrevocably and miraculously transformed. In the immediate aftermath of Michael's victory, as the demon was banished from your timeline, a sound echoed through the spiritual realm of your life. the sound of shattering chains. These were not physical chains, but the invisible, energetic bonds that this entity had placed upon you and your destiny over the years. With their master gone, these chains, which were forged from the energy of delay and despair, lost all their power and instantly disintegrated. While you slept, you were liberated from spiritual prisons you did not even know you were in, and the effects of this liberation will now begin to unfold rapidly in your waking life. The first and most significant chain to shatter was the great curse of delay. This was the primary weapon of your adversary, the spiritual anchor that kept the ship of your destiny from sailing. For years, you have felt its effects as a persistent, frustrating resistance against all your forward movement. Now, that resistance is gone. The spiritual brakes have been released. You have been freed from the gravitational pull of stagnation, and the divine momentum in your life has been fully restored. Projects, plans, and dreams that have been stuck for years will now subtly find the energy and opportunity to move forward with surprising speed. The second chain that broke was the bond to negative ancestral patterns. The demon, being an ancient entity, often works by exploiting the inherited wounds and weaknesses within a bloodline. It was using the unhealed despair of your ancestors as a gateway to access and influence you. Michael's victory did not just protect you, it healed your lineage at a critical juncture. His light severed your energetic connection to the very patterns the demon was using against you. You have been liberated from spiritual burdens that were not even yours to carry, freeing you to create a future based on your own divine potential, not on the limitations of the past. The final chain to shatter was the insidious bond of compulsive self-sabotage. The demon's whispers of unworthiness and hopelessness were the fuel for your own inner critic. It amplified your fears and encouraged the subconscious patterns that caused you to abandon your goals just before you reached them. With its influential voice now permanently silenced, you will find a new sense of inner quiet and resolve. The inexplicable urge to undermine your own success will recede, replaced by a steady, confident determination to see your dreams through to their glorious completion. The immediate aftermath of this battle is not just peace, it is a profound, multi-layered, and an absolute liberation. In the sacred quiet that followed the battle, after the demon was bound and banished from your timeline, Archangel Michael's work was not yet complete. A victorious warrior not only clears the battlefield but also secures the territory. To finalize his triumph and to ensure that your soul would remain forever sovereign and protected, he performed a final, powerful act. He reached into the very heart of heaven's fire and drew forth a spark of divine light, fashioning it into a permanent victor's seal. He then gently and lovingly placed this seal upon the core of your soul. This is not a temporary shield that can be raised or lowered. It is a permanent, indelible mark, a spiritual tattoo of divine light that has fundamentally and irrevocably upgraded your energetic signature. This seal is a mark of divine authority and ownership. It radiates the brilliant, unmistakable frequency of Archangel Michael himself, acting as a celestial emblem that is visible to all beings in the spiritual realm. To the forces of light, it is a sign of your courage, your importance, and your honored status as one who is under the direct protection of heaven's greatest champion. To any and all forces of darkness, however, it is an absolute and terrifying warning. It is a divine, no trespass sign, a clear and permanent declaration that this soul is the personal territory of the Archangel Michael, and any attempt to interfere, influence, or attack you from this moment forward will be met with the full and overwhelming force of his divine retribution. The function of this victor's seal is twofold. Its primary purpose is defensive, making you naturally immune to the specific frequency of the adversary you have just vanquished. The signature of the great demon of delay and despair can no longer find a foothold in your energy field. The seal actively repels it, like two opposing magnetic poles. This means that the old, familiar feelings of hopelessness and stagnation will have a much harder time taking root within you. Its secondary purpose is to act as a seal of authority. It signifies that you have passed a great spiritual test, and as such, you are now considered a veteran in the war against darkness, a soul who has earned a new level of respect and authority in the spiritual hierarchy of light. You may not see this seal with your physical eyes, but you will begin to feel its effects in the very core of your being. It will manifest as a new and unshakable sense of inner sovereignty and security. It is a quiet, deep, foundational feeling of being safe, of being untouchable, of knowing on a soul level that you are divinely protected in a way you have never been before. This seal is the permanent trophy of your victory, a constant, silent reminder of the battle that was won for you, and a source of profound strength that will emanate from your soul for the rest of your days. As you listen to these words on this day, Saturday, September 13th, it is crucial that you connect this profound spiritual event to your immediate, present moment experience. The great battle for your soul was not a distant, abstract event. It was a real war that raged in the ether just hours ago, and its outcome is now producing tangible effects in your physical and emotional body. The strange, subtle, yet undeniable feelings you may have woken up with this morning are not your imagination. They are the direct physical and emotional aftermath of this monumental victory. Do not dismiss them. Instead, you are being asked to recognize them as the first precious proofs of your liberation. Many of you will have noticed a distinct feeling of lightness in your body. For months, or perhaps even years, you have been carrying the oppressive spiritual weight of this demonic influence without knowing its source. It has manifested as a heaviness in your chest, a burden on your shoulders, a constant, low-grade fatigue that no amount of sleep could cure. With the banishment of this entity, that immense spiritual pressure has been instantly lifted. The lightness you may be feeling today is real. It is the new freedom in your energy body, the absence of a great weight you had simply grown accustomed to carrying. Others may be experiencing a quiet, profound, and perhaps even unfamiliar sense of peace. The constant spiritual conflict that was raging just beneath the surface of your conscious awareness has now ceased. The inner turmoil, the silent anxiety, the spiritual static that kept your soul in a state of unrest is gone. The natural state of your soul is one of deep, abiding peace, and now that the war is over, that peace is finally able to radiate into your conscious mind and heart. It may not be a loud, ecstatic joy, but a gentle, serene stillness that seems to defy your external circumstances. Cherish this peace. It is the sacred silence of a secured battlefield. And for some, the most noticeable feeling will be a small, gentle flicker of hope. The demon's primary function was to suffocate hope with the wet blanket of despair. With that influence gone, your natural, God-given hope is beginning to tentatively blossom once more. Even if all your worldly problems still seem to be present, you may feel a quiet, internal shift, a new, gentle optimism, a soft whisper in your soul that things can and will actually get better. This is the first blossom from the spoils of war. Honor these feelings, the lightness, the peace, the hope. They are the true and tangible evidence that while your body slept, your entire spiritual reality was miraculously and victoriously transformed. When a great victory is won in a holy war, the triumphant warrior claims the spoils of the vanquished. These are the treasures, territories, and powers that the defeated enemy once held. Last night, Archangel Michael, fighting in your name and for your soul, won a decisive and absolute victory. As the victor, he has claimed the spoils of war from the great demon of delay and despair, and he now presents these sacred treasures to you as your rightful inheritance. The first and most precious of these spoils is the full restoration of your stolen hope and divine enthusiasm. You must understand that hope is not a mere emotion, it is a spiritual substance, a high-frequency life force that is essential for creation and manifestation. For a long time, the demon has been feeding on your hope. It has been a psychic vampire, subtly draining your enthusiasm, your optimism, and your excitement for the future. It did this by creating repeated cycles of disappointment, making you feel that it was foolish or painful to be hopeful. It conditioned you to expect the worst. This slow theft left you feeling cynical, apathetic, and spiritually depleted, making it nearly impossible to gather the energy needed to pursue your dreams. Michael has now reclaimed every last drop of this stolen spiritual substance on your behalf. The restoration process is active and ongoing, beginning the moment you woke up this morning. This is not just about the absence of despair, it is the active, divine transfusion of pure, uncut hope directly into your spirit. Michael is pouring this golden, effervescent energy back into the empty and wounded places of your soul. Imagine a divine light filling you up, reigniting the pilot light of your spirit, and warming you from the inside out. This infusion is designed to heal the cynicism and apathy that has taken root within you, replacing it with a fresh, divine perspective and a renewed sense of purpose. You should expect, in the coming days and weeks, a surprising return of your natural passion and enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm has its roots in the Greek entheos, which means filled with God. You will begin to feel excited about life again. Old dreams will be reawakened. New ideas will begin to flow. You will feel a genuine desire to create, to connect, and to engage with the world in a way you may not have felt for a very long time. This is not a fleeting mood, it is the first spoil of your victory. This restored hope is the sacred fuel for your new journey, and it has been returned to you in its full and glorious measure. The second and most world-altering spoil of war that Michael has claimed for you is the direct and powerful antidote to your former captor. The great demon's primary function was to create delay, to bind you in the spiritual mud of stagnation. Therefore, the second treasure Michael bestows upon you is the profound gift of divine momentum. With the enforcer of the curse of delay now banished from your timeline, the spiritual resistance that has hindered your every move has been completely and utterly removed. The path before you is now clear, open, and charged with a powerful forward-moving energy. The great cosmic dam that was holding back the river of your destiny has just been shattered. For years, or perhaps even your entire life, you have felt like you were attempting to run a race through deep, thick mud. Every step required immense effort. Every bit of progress was slow, exhausting, and hard-won. This was the effect of the demon's influence, an artificial spiritual gravity designed to wear you down and convince you to stop trying. That reality is now over. The divine momentum you have been gifted will feel like stepping out of that mud and onto a powerful, fast-moving walkway. The same amount of effort that once moved you inches will now propel you miles. You will begin to experience this divine momentum in tangible ways. Projects that have been stalled for months will suddenly receive the green light. The resources you need will appear as if from nowhere. The people who can help you will enter your life at the perfect time. Synchronicities will line up one after another, creating a clear and accelerated path towards your goals. Life will begin to feel less like a struggle and more like a sacred flow. It will feel as though the universe is finally conspiring for you, not against you, because the spiritual interference that was blocking that conspiracy has now been eliminated. This incredible gift, however, requires your active participation. This powerful current has been created, but you must be willing to raise your sails and move with it. When a new opportunity appears, you must seize it without hesitation. When a surge of inspiration flows, you must act upon it immediately. The time for second-guessing and procrastination is over, as those were habits encouraged by the old energy of delay. To fully benefit from this spoil of war, you must learn to trust your intuition and move with a new, confident decisiveness. Michael has cleared the way and started the current. It is now up to you to bravely and joyfully sail the river of your accelerated destiny. The third and most empowering spoil of war is a profound shift in your spiritual standing. Michael's victory did not just rescue you, it promoted you. In the laws of the spiritual realm, when you are the subject of a victorious battle against a specific force, you gain a measure of authority over that force's domain. Therefore, the third treasure bestowed upon you is a new spiritual authority over the very forces of despair that attacked you. This is the most profound outcome of all, as it elevates you from the position of the hunted to that of the ruler. You are no longer the victim of these energies, you have been given dominion over them. What this means in a practical sense is that your relationship with feelings of hopelessness, despair, and stagnation has been forever changed. Before this battle, when these feelings arose, you may have felt powerless against them, as if you were being swept away by a dark tide. Now, you have been given a scepter of authority. You no longer have to cower or simply defend yourself against these energies. Because of Michael's victory fought in your name, you now have the right and the power to actively command these energies to leave your presence. You are no longer a subject in the kingdom of your own mind, you are its rightful sovereign. This new authority is wielded through your conscious, intentional choice. When an old, familiar thought of hopelessness or a feeling of despair attempts to creep back into your mind, perhaps as an echo, a memory, or an external influence, you are no longer to treat it as a valid feeling. You are to recognize it as an illegal intruder in your now sacred territory. Standing in your new power, you can confidently and calmly say, "In the name and authority of Archangel Michael's victory, I command all energies of despair and stagnation to leave my presence now. You have no power here. You have no authority here. This soul is a sovereign territory of light." This is not a hopeful affirmation, it is an authoritative decree backed by the full power of Michael's triumph. You will be astonished at how quickly these old energies now dissipate when confronted with your new authority. This spoil of war is the ultimate empowerment. Michael did not just save you from the dragon, he has handed you a leash and given you mastery over it. This new spiritual authority is a tool you are meant to use every day to maintain the peace and victory within your own inner kingdom. It is the final proof that you have been transformed from the prize of a battle into its undisputed victor. In the sacred aftermath of the battle, as the light of victory settled upon your soul, Archangel Michael did not simply depart. He drew near, not as a distant warrior, but as your most intimate guardian, to deliver a personal message meant for your spirit alone. He wants you to hear these words now and to accept them as the divine truth of your being. First, he wants you to know this: you were not targeted because you were weak, you were targeted because your light is, and always has been, immensely powerful. Your soul carries a unique frequency of hope and a divine blueprint for creation that the darkness fears above all else. This great battle was not a measure of your failure, but a confirmation of your magnificent potential. The second part of his message is an affirmation of your own strength. He reveals that the final, decisive blow was struck not with his power alone, but with a weapon forged from your own resilient spirit. That tiny, unyielding spark of hope that you kept alive in your darkest hours, that was the key. He wants you to understand that you were not a helpless victim waiting for rescue, you were a vital participant in your own liberation. You held the light, and he wielded it. He wants you to own this victory as yours, to know that the strength to overcome the greatest darkness has always resided within you. His message then shifts to a gentle but firm word of guidance. He warns that in the coming days, the defeated demon may attempt to send echoes of its old energy, shadows of doubt, whispers of the old despair, to test your belief in what has happened. His instruction is clear: do not entertain these ghosts. Do not negotiate with memories. You are standing on victorious ground now, and you must not allow the illusions of a dead past to trespass upon it. Your freedom has been won, but it must be consciously claimed and inhabited by you every single day. Finally, Archangel Michael's message concludes with a sacred promise of eternal partnership. His vow was not just to win this single battle for you, but to see you through to your ultimate destiny. He assures you, "My watch is not over, it has simply entered a new and more glorious phase. I am no longer just your hidden defender, I am now your active strategist, your divine mentor, and your constant companion in this new, victorious life. The communication channel between us is now clearer than ever before. Call on me, and I will be there. Walk forward in faith, and I will walk beside you. Your victory is my victory, and our work together has just begun." A great victory won in the spiritual realm must be reinforced in the physical. Archangel Michael has cleared the territory, but it is now your sacred role to occupy it. The aftermath of this battle requires your active participation to anchor and solidify the new, victorious timeline in your day-to-day reality. You are no longer the subject of the story, you are its hero, and you must now begin to make choices that reflect this profound shift in your identity and your circumstances. Your role is to become the living embodiment of the victory that was won for you, proving to yourself and to the universe that you have accepted your liberation. Your first role is to become the vigilant guardian of your own mind. You must now actively occupy your mental space with the thoughts and feelings of your new reality. When echoes of the old despair or thoughts of delay arise, you must see them for what they are: illegal squatters on your now sacred ground. You are to use the new authority you've been given to evict them without hesitation. This means consciously refusing to give these old thought patterns your energy or attention. You must replace them immediately with thoughts that are in alignment with your victory, thoughts of gratitude, of hope, of divine momentum, and of Michael's unwavering protection. Your mind is the throne room of your new kingdom. Do not allow the ghosts of a defeated enemy to sit upon it. Your second role is to begin speaking the language of your new timeline. Words are creative acts. They are commands that shape your reality. You must make a conscious choice to stop speaking about your life from the perspective of the old struggle. The phrases, "I'm so stuck, nothing ever works out for me," or "I'm so tired of fighting," are now obsolete. They are relics of a banished reality. Your new language must be one of victory. Speak affirmations of your new momentum, your renewed hope, and your unbreakable protection. Talk about your future with certainty and enthusiasm. Your words are the decrees you issue that will furnish and decorate your new reality. Your third and most crucial role is to take victorious action. The gift of divine momentum is a powerful current, but it requires you to raise your sails. You must now act with the faith of someone who knows the path is clear. When an opportunity arises, you must take it. When a surge of inspiration comes, you must follow it. Hesitation, procrastination, and second-guessing are the habits of the old timeline of delay. Your new reality requires a new level of decisiveness and faith-fueled action. By consciously managing your thoughts, your words, and your actions, you are not just hoping the victory sticks, you are actively forging it into the permanent, unshakable foundation of your new life. You have been gifted a new and profound spiritual authority over the very forces that once held you captive. This is not a metaphor, it is a tangible spoil of war, a scepter of power that Michael has placed in your hand. Walking in this new authority is your key to maintaining your freedom and peace. It requires you to shift your posture from one of defense to one of command. You are no longer the one who endures despair, you are the one who banishes it. This requires practice, but it is a skill you will master with breathtaking speed, because the authority behind you is now absolute. Here is your practical, spiritual tool for walking in this authority. The next time you feel a wave of the old, familiar hopelessness, stagnation, or despair begin to creep into your spirit, you are not to shrink from it or be consumed by it. You are to stop. Stand tall, take a deep breath, and feel the victor's seal upon your soul. Then, speak aloud or with firm inner conviction the following command: I recognize this energy as the echo of a defeated and banished enemy. It has no power here. It has no authority here. By the supreme authority of the victory won for my soul by Archangel Michael, I command this feeling and this frequency to leave my presence and my reality immediately and forever. After you give this command, do not argue with it or question it. Simply stand in silence for a moment and consciously feel the energetic shift. Feel the heaviness lift. Feel the clarity return. Feel the peace of Michael's presence rush into the space that the old energy once occupied. This is not just about the words, it is about you consciously and willfully choosing to change your energetic state. You are using your voice and your intention as a tuning fork to reset your own frequency back to the victorious harmony that is now your natural state. Every time you perform this act, you strengthen your spiritual authority and reinforce the reality of your victory. You are like a new king learning to project his royal command, and the energies both within and without you will learn to obey your sovereign will. The first few times may feel like you are acting, but you will soon be astonished at how quickly and completely the old energies recede in the face of your new power. This is what it means to walk in your new authority. You are no longer managing your despair, you are ruling over it. As you begin to live from this new place of victory, the universe will rush to provide you with undeniable evidence that your timeline has indeed been permanently shifted. Look for these signs, for they are the universe's applause for your victory and heaven's loving confirmation that the influence of the great demon is truly and irrevocably gone. These signs will confirm that you are now walking on a new, higher, and clearer path, and they are meant to bolster your faith as you adjust to your new reality. The battle is over, and the evidence of peace will now begin to flood your life. The first signs will be external, appearing as a tangible increase in flow and the dissolution of old obstacles. Doors that have been stubbornly locked for years will suddenly swing open. A person who has been a constant source of resistance in your life may either have a miraculous change of heart or peacefully and drama-free drift out of your experience. The resources, money, or information you need to move forward will begin to appear in synchronistic and surprising ways. You will have the distinct feeling that the universe, which may have felt like an adversary, is now your most enthusiastic and helpful ally. This is the tangible proof of your divine momentum in action. The second set of signs will be internal. You will notice a profound and lasting decrease in the background noise of anxiety and dread that may have been your constant companion. You will find yourself sleeping more deeply and waking up feeling genuinely rested. More telling, you will experience moments of spontaneous joy and hope, bubbling up from within for no specific external reason. This is the sign that your emotional home base has been reset. The old, heavy frequency of despair is no longer your default setting. The quiet, joyful stillness of your victorious soul is now your new normal. Finally, you will notice an acceleration of beautiful and meaningful synchronicities. You will see repeating numbers that reassure you of angelic presence. You will have chance encounters that lead to magical opportunities. You will feel a heightened sense of intuition, a clear inner guidance that helps you navigate your new, accelerated path with confidence and grace. These are not random events, they are love notes from your angelic team, led by Archangel Michael, constantly reminding you that you are on the right path, that you are protected, and that the new, victorious timeline is fully engaged and unfolding perfectly before you. A gift of this magnitude, a victory of this significance, must be consciously received and sealed to become a permanent reality. The final act in this sacred drama is yours, and it is the most powerful of all, the act of gratitude. Gratitude is the highest and most powerful frequency in the universe. It is the energetic glue that makes a miracle stick. It is the final, conscious amen that you speak into the cosmos, formally accepting the victory and closing the door forever on the old reality. This is not just about being polite to heaven, it is a crucial and powerful spiritual protocol. Here is the protocol to seal your victory. Find a quiet moment where you will not be disturbed. Place one or both hands upon your heart, close your eyes, and take a deep, calming breath. Feel the new lightness and peace in your spirit. Then, speaking aloud to infuse the physical realm with your intention, say these or similar words from the depths of your soul. Archangel Michael, divine champion and guardian of my soul, I thank you. I thank you with all of my being for the battle you fought and the victory you won for me while I slept. I consciously and fully accept this victory now. I accept my freedom. I accept my healing. I accept my new timeline of momentum and hope. After speaking these words, remain in silence for a moment. Feel the energy of your own gratitude. Feel it expand from your heart and radiate outwards, a great wave of golden light that flows out to Archangel Michael and to the very throne of God. This act of heartfelt gratitude does two profound things. First, it aligns your own personal frequency completely and totally with the high frequency of the victory itself, making you a perfect and permanent vibrational match to your new reality. You are cementing the miracle into your very cells by vibrating at its level. Secondly, and just as importantly, this act of gratitude forges a new and unbreakable bond of partnership between you and Archangel Michael. It transforms this event from a one-time rescue into the foundation of an eternal alliance. You are acknowledging his work, honoring his power, and consciously inviting him to remain as your active partner in all the days to come. This is the final seal upon the victory. The battle was won by Michael, but the victory is cemented and made real by your gratitude. The old story of struggle is finished. The book is closed. Your new life, born from a great battle and sealed with a grateful heart, begins now.